Guys, hope you all are doing well. So different kind of video today. I'm going to cover a recap of my trades from yesterday. Then I'm going to go over some outlook for trades coming today, like forex and stocks, etc. And then I'm going to read some comments on my YouTube channel and just kind of go through like a little Q&A. I'm kind of tired of typing through all the responses, so I think just kind of scrolling through them all and kind of answering them on the next day's video, kind of like this, might be good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And make sure you also hit the like button too. Thanks for all the support as usual. This channel's been growing. I really appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Let's go ahead and get started with yesterday's trades. So if you guys remember, I was short on some AUD pairs. I did get into a Euro CHF sell. That was the simplest, so we'll start with Euro CHF. I was in a Euro CHF sell here at this zone right here. And you can see my position was right here. So price pushed into this zone, started rejecting. I entered, pushed above, tested a support, came back into the zone, ended up liquidating around break even. Then it ended up going down, and then it came back up, and it would be in drawdown right now. Then this morning I took off this zone from Euro CHF, and I was like, screw this, it's getting too choppy. It's like nothing clear, so I'm just gonna wait on one of the zones above or below to be hit, not this area. Until then, I'm just going to be waiting on Euro CHF. Euro GBP, nothing. I'm waiting on her to test the support down here, but even then that might not work because we've already tested there a couple times. I'm going to see what happens in the retest. I was in short on AUD/USD. So as you guys know, so price came up further into this area. I told you guys on the video yesterday, I'm not going to do anything here at this zone. It's not clear enough, blah, blah, blah. I ended up changing my mind. I ended up taking a short here at this zone after we rejected the first time here, and after we started coming down for the second time here. On the way down, I entered a short right here at this area, just thinking that okay, price could continue all the way up to here, but it could also bounce right here. So I was like, why not? It's at a clear level. So I ended up taking that trade right there, and then whenever everything came down halfway, I cut my positions at the first support here at a loss. And then I cut this position up here in profit. It equaled out to be a net break even, and it was right here in this down spike last night, right before I went to bed. So break even on AUD/USD, which is cool because I got the initial bounce wrong, but I was entered at the next zone and it came down. That was good. Same thing happened on AUD Canadian dollar. I entered up here whenever price got to this H4 resistance zone. There was also a daily zone kind of further up. If you go to the daily, it looks a little bit more clear. You kind of see it's just an area where all the wicks have been going. Some have been going into this zone. Some have been extending all the way into the one further up. So whenever price got in that one further up, I just entered up here on that down bar. So it pushed up into the zone, had a down bar, and I was like, okay, all right, I'll add another sell. It was looking really good on the 4 hour because it was leaving that wick, and then when it painted the wick, I knew it'd be fine, so I left it. At the same time I closed AUD/USD, I closed this just because this was in a net profit as well. And this profit kind of helped cancel out the losses from AU. I came out in small profit between AD CAD and AUD/USD on everything yesterday, which is cool, because they went into drawdown and they came back and this and that, and yeah, it was good. So yeah, there you go. Yet again, squirming out of some trades at actually a profit this time. Currently, I don't see anything else on AD CAD and AUD/USD. I still think AD CAD could bounce from this zone down to here. But I'm not too sure for some reason. I get a weird intuition about it. AUD/USD though, I am waiting on a test for price to pierce this zone down here. And then I will be trying to go long right here at this zone unless something crazy happens with US dollar. So that's that. GBP New Zealand dollar. You guys know yesterday I missed this whole move. Simple breaky retest in the 4 hour. Bounced there and pushed up. Missed the whole move. Very sad. I'm going to be waiting on this to see what happens. I may go and mark it up later and check it out. USD JPY, I'm still waiting for price to push up here into this zone right here. It's a 4 hour zone. You can see where the alert is right there. It's just bounced the support twice, resistance, sort of support here. I'm waiting on a push back up. I think this will be like a nice location to enter sells on UJ and take profits down at the previous low, which would be like 70 pips or so. That's what I'm waiting for. CHF JPY, I actually don't know what I'm going to be doing here. You guys will notice yesterday after I was like, I missed this entry here. A couple hours later, I ended up coming back into the zone, but I didn't have an alert there. So I didn't take the trade. So another trade that I missed, this would have been like a nice, I think, 30 pips. Yeah, 35 pips. I don't know what I'm going to do on CHF JPY. What I'm kind of thinking is to wait for a break below this area, then a retest, and continuation to the lows. If not, I'll wait for price to get up here to this next resistance zone, and then I'll look to sell right there. That's it. Everything else, I don't really see anything else. Some of you guys have been asking how I draw support resistance zones, so we'll go through that real quick here in the chart. I'll go to something random here, like so Euro JPY. We'll scroll back to a random portion of the chart right here. All right, so you got to keep in mind, like, trend is so subjective. On one time frame it'll be in an uptrend, on another time frame it'll be in a range, another time frame it'll be in a downtrend. Trend is really subjective. The way I kind of look at it is that if you have a cluster of support and resistance zones, right? Well, price, it's just going to bounce in between these zones, right? So it may find resistance here, it may go up here, but then it may dip back below and come to the lows, but then it may push back above and test and go to the next zone. Then when it gets here, it'll bounce and it may go back down here to this zone. Then it breaks above and tests this zone and continues up. Price just kind of moves around between the zones. That's the logic I approach it with. Who cares what the trend is, right? It's like if price just bounces from zone to zone, who gives a shit what the trend is? So with that being said, the way I kind of draw support resistance is I just look at where price reversed at, and where price previously reverses at is generally an area where it might come back to test in the future and then bounce. So how I will sort of look at this is I typically won't use lines, because for me what I found, it works better if you kind of use more of a range as a zone. And if you use a range as a zone, it's just a little like box, like a little horizontal box. So I'll show you guys how I do that. It's really simple. So again, I'm just looking for areas where price has previously bounced at. So up here at these two highs, you'll see that price is like kind of had a little bounce from there. So it's not rocket science, just like take a little box and then like include the highs of the zone and then include the candle closes and then just extend it out to the right side on the chart. That's pretty much it. You'll still have shit like this happen where it's like it pushes way below the zone and then pushes up and leaves a wick. And then you'll have exact tests of the zone where it just tests and bounces right there. You know, it's a part of trading. You'll also have other areas like this, for example, where it's like, okay, the wick starts up there, but the candle body comes all the way like down here. So like, you know, what the hell do I do? Well, you can start a zone like that and you can just kind of extend it and see how it works out. And oftentimes what you'll find is that as price starts reacting with the zone, as price starts interacting with the zone in the future, you can start fine tuning it and saying, okay, you know, maybe I should drag it a little bit lower. Maybe I shouldn't include that wick right there because we've had multiple tests of this zone, like with that wick there, with this price here. We had price tap that zone here, we had it close above here, test with a wick there. Once it kind of starts developing, you can kind of start tightening it up and try to find like a more fine-tuned area. If you have a zone where it's just like this, where it's just like a huge area and it's really confusing because price just whips back and forth through it over and over, it's typically not the best zone. You typically want a zone where price doesn't really do that too often. For instance, a zone like this, it's like resistance, 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 and then support was right here. And it did have a pin through it, not the best, but had a pin through it, closed above, and then support, support. So this is a pretty clear zone because the only like BS we have going on with the zone is just that little pierce through it right there. When you have a zone where prices just like smash through it over and over, like zones like this, like I don't like zones like this. Support breaks through it, resistance pushes up above, but then comes right back below, then resistance, then pushes back above, and then support, and then goes. It's so much easier to just use a zone more like this up here, where you've kind of got the resistance forming with a couple highs rejecting it, breaks above, smashes down below it, but pushes back above, and then we have another tap of it right there where it respects like to the wick. Stuff like this is way better because it's just like the zone tends to get respected more often. Stuff like this in here where it's like you just extend the zone across, it just works every time, like resistance, 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 breaks above, support, support, support. Stuff like that is stuff that I like because it tends to work a lot easier. So it takes a little bit of practice. It takes a little bit of experience. And when you have that experience, you'll develop applied experience, which then leads to your intuition. You start using your intuition over and over again. That leads to wisdom as to you looking at the charts and seeing, what should I do next? So yeah, but price will just flip back and forth through all these support resistance zones. You'll see right here, it's a little when price like comes up here and starts rejecting it lower, then you can start like extending it downwards a little bit. And you can start like dragging it to like include wicks. Right here as well, you can see like price was like resistance in here. So at first you may have a big zone, but then as price starts respecting it and starts showing more relevance at a certain area, you can start kind of tightening it up as to where you think the more pinpointed zone is. So we have it breaks back below, it tests, Starts to bounce right there. It goes down, breaks and retests, and then you just have all the next stops that it can go to. So that's all I do. It's just trading zone to zone, trading support resistance. It's really not that complicated. But yeah, I remember some of you guys asked that in the comments, like, how do you draw your zones? I just go to pretty much the 4-hour chart, and I just look at areas where prices bounced in the past. I draw a little rectangle, and I kind of extend it out, and then I try to like fine tune it to try to get it as tight as I can without sacrificing like the relevancy of the zone. So yeah, with that being said, let's go, let's check out stocks real quick. Yesterday on stocks, Facebook is down like 20% after hours. That's really cool. I'm gonna be looking to maybe pick up some shares, my other brokerage platforms on Facebook, depending on where we go today. So yesterday I was up on the day like 2,600, then down 5,700. So I think in net, I'm down like 3K. Yesterday, which is pretty much like a little over 1%. I was up like 5K pre-market, came all the way back to break even on the day, then up like 5K, and then down like 1K. So it kind of like ranged a lot yesterday. So everything's pretty much flat for yesterday, down about 1% in total between market trading and then after hours. So that's that. Yeah, we'll see where everything goes. So for the only thing I'm looking at for stocks right now is what's this? Meta. So Facebook. So Facebook's at 256 right now. It's still showing on the chart. It's not quoting it. It's quoting it up here at 323, but Facebook is actually down here at 256. So all the way down here. Not thinking this is a horrible price to buy at, because I mean, long term, if Facebook does anything decent, like it's probably going to bounce back up. We do have some lows further in here. So I think that maybe a little bit further down into like maybe 245 might be a better area to buy at, just technically. So when you combine the technicals with the fundamentals on Facebook, I mean, I'm thinking at least a little bit of a bounce. Maybe just back up here to this zone would be like a 20% bounce. Like here's the zone I'm talking about from this area. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens on Facebook, but keep in mind, 20% down in a day. That's a pretty big discount on a pretty big company. Other than that, got everything else that I'm in, all of these stocks up here. I've already covered this multiple times. Let's get to the comments on the YouTube channel, shall we? Let me just head back to my Forex layout here. All right, so yeah, here's some comments from yesterday. So Morty says, is it wise to look at the 4-hour chart for trend reference, then use market structure to enter on 15 or 5-minute? Yeah, I think it's wise. I use 4-hour and 1-hour. You can use whatever you like, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Mark says, cool, great video, and love the total honesty. Thanks, Mark. Michael says, Nick, not going to lie, I was skeptical of this strategy before you started doing it, but it's growing on me. I've been back testing it myself, and I'm going to start demo trading it. You the man. Congrats on the gains, too. Thanks, Michael. Sweet. Yeah, we all got to test our own strategies, right? Everyone's going to have their own approach. Kyle, why do you include stock profits with your trading? It's a different type of trading? Yeah, but so is everything. Stock trading's different. Crypto trading's different. Forex trading's different. It's still trading profits though. So, I mean, of course I'm going to include it with my trading. Just makes sense. Kajay says, hey, Nick, did the transition from vegan to eating animal products make you feel sick? Or was your body used to it? Congrats on your profits. Thanks for the congrats, bro. Yeah, the transition from vegan to eating animal products, it wasn't that bad at all. I mean, I didn't feel any type of adverse effects. I didn't feel any type of like digestive ailments or anything. I felt great. Like it started out one night, I made like a salmon like fillet, and then the next day I had like some eggs, and I just slowly started adding stuff back in. I had a steak like a week later, and then I started doing chicken mainly. Not a lot of dairy, but mainly just like eggs and proteins like meats. But yeah, I feel great. I didn't run into any weird ailments or anything, man. Like it's really, I feel fine. I feel great. Like way better. Like so much better. Like way better. I could make a whole video about this, going on and on about it. Now keep in mind, I'm still from an ethical standpoint, I still think it's wrong to kill animals to eat them. But I have to just be honest with myself about what feels better, right? Like I feel better like eating animal products. I can think better. I feel like I'm sleeping better. My digestive system, I'm not bloated all the time. I'm actually gaining weight. I'm up 11 pounds in 1 month, which being vegan, I tried for a month to gain weight, eating so much food, so much food, like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day, so much plants, bloated nonstop, gained 1 pound all month. I mean, it was like brutal. Like that's what caused me to question being vegan. So again, keep in mind, I still think it's unethical to kill animals to eat them. I just have to somehow reconcile that with like, all right, what do I value more, like being an ethical vegan or an ethical plant-based diet, or do I value like feeling good with my day-to-day life and gaining weight and being healthy. I don't know. I've tried a lot. Keep in mind, I was vegan for 3 years. I've tried a whole lot of stuff. And I always kept running into issues and stuff. But it's like, yeah, I feel great. I don't feel bad at all, like at all. Really big inspiration in my trading career, Nick. Keep dropping bangers. When I run up my first milli, I'm going to buy you an icy Rolex. Thanks, man. Hey, Nick, thanks for your amazing videos. I wonder what you trade out of what time frame? Do you trade out of what time frame? Thanks much. I'm struggling to find consistency. Yeah, I trade with the 4-hour time frames. A lot of these questions I see is stuff I've answered a million times before, but they're really common questions. So here's the answers again. I trade off the 4-hour, 1-hour time frames pretty much. I'll use all time frames though. Like there's not like one specific thing, you know, in specific. I put everything together, but in general, yeah, I use 4-hour, 1 hour. You have a Telegram where you call these trades? I used to, not anymore though. I've just been sharing them here on my YouTube channel. Gene says just back test, break and retest and zone trading, guys. Simple. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty much all I do. FX Trucker, damn it, Nick, save some money for us. Good job. Thanks, man. You're so great and humble. The video is great. Thanks, guys. Hate versus End of Times says, have you tested this strategy between 2015 and 2019? What strategy is this person talking about? How to stay patient when you shouldn't trade. So it's probably the same zone-to-zone trading. I've been trading zone-to-zone, like whether it's break or retest, bounces of support resistance, or bounces of like trend areas. That's still just trading from one location to another location on the chart from a technical perspective. I've been doing this profitably since mid-2017. And worst case scenario, really proficiently since the beginning of 2018. So that's like 4 years now, or at the beginning of 2022. So it's pretty much exactly 4 years I've been doing this profitably. My trading system's kind of evolved and kind of shifted here and there a little bit, but it's still the same basic principles. For me, it's been working the past 4 years profitably. So we'll say 2018 to now. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't even know why that matters, because what matters is what's going on now. Because even if something didn't work back then, if it's working now, it's kind of what matters. So we can adapt as if the market changes. What time do you usually trade? Usually New York session, like right now, 5:30 a.m. New York session opens up in an hour or two, I think 2 hours. So yeah, I trade during New York session because I'm here in Texas. You're insane, bro. Keep it up. Thank you. It's scary how much you've helped my trading. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much for these videos, Nick. Been emulating your zones. Surprised how easy trading has been, and so far I'm profitable as well. Sweet. Good deal, Kelvin. Boss, I've been trying out this scalping strategy, but I'm not really getting a very good result. I wonder what I'm doing wrong. You got to test out stuff. Juochi Okpala. Hope I didn't say your name wrong. You got to test out stuff, man. You got to test it out. Trading's fucking hard, bro. It took me a 1.5 years to learn how to trade profitably. But yeah, you got to keep on applying stuff. You got to keep on testing stuff. It's like, don't expect it to work out immediately. For those of you watching this video, like, how the hell is Nick posting his videos profitable trading every day, and then his worst days are like break even? People, like, you guys are probably really frustrated, some of you, like, what the fuck, like, what am I doing wrong? Keep in mind, it's taken me a long time to get where I'm at, and the only way you get there is just through experience and chart time. Just keep on, just approach it. If you keep seeing the same thing that you're doing over and over again isn't working, modify it, tweak it a little bit. If something else starts working a little bit better, start doing a little bit more of that. Try to discover, like, why does this seem to work better? Why does it seem to work better if I wait for the major zones to be tested instead of trading off of like 15-minute zones instead? Just little stuff like that. You only get that through experience, but you have to get that experience, and you have to actually start applying it going forward based on what your experiences are and the stuff you run into while you're learning trading. Just keep at it. I mean, it's chart time. It takes experience. Bro, your stocks are growing. Yeah, hopefully they continue growing. 250k to 300k. Let's see where it goes, right? I really appreciate you. Thanks, man. My guy murdering the markets, and then love this. So thank you. Everything else I responded to yesterday. There was like dozens of comments I responded to yesterday, but these are the ones that were still remaining. Others of these are just all scam comments. All right, cool. Well, that's it, guys. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off now. Let y'all get back to your day. Again, I appreciate y'all hitting the like button on these videos. If you're interested in getting personal coaching from me and my team, personal mentorship, live Q&A sessions, joining Mission FX, the structured program, the students group chat, link in the description for more information. Hope you guys have an amazing trading day today. Trading's been amazing for me this whole year so far. The first month, beginning of February, starting off amazing. And then, yeah, let's keep going, right? Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. See you in tomorrow's video. Happy trading.